Okay. Although Noah left the ark, he was hesitant to fulfill God's command to procreate and repopulate the earth, fearing that his descendants might one day be wiped away in another flood. God therefore swore to Noah that there would be no future flood. All right. Yesher koach.
Okay, I'm assuming that the Ashikach is passing.
Yeah.
Avi, we got to get some of this next time, remember?
Okay.
There we go.
Elevating earthiness. כי מויסיס בריסי איתכם להיקרס כל בשר אוי ממאה מעבל לשחס הארץ. Gracious test it out. God said, never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. Genesis 9:1:1. 9/11. How funny is that? Or not funny?
1/11/2018.
And he writes, never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. And it's said in verse 9:11. Chapter 9, verse 11. Yeah. I mean, as we've discussed, it doesn't mean that Hashem can't punish anybody, it just means he's not going to destroy the entire earth.
Yeah, it's true. Flood towns, you could flood cities, and he never said no volcanoes, he never said no this, that. There's many other ways he can do it if he has to. But let's hope it doesn't get to that. When the Torah says that God destroyed the earth, it means that he destroyed earthiness. That is the mistaken belief that the world exists independent of God. The flood completely submerged the world in divine awareness and thus purified it from its moral degeneration and made it permanently receptive to divine consciousness. Thus, no further flood would ever be necessary. So basically, the way God made the flood is that I guess wherever the water went, which was everywhere, godliness or awareness of God also went, so that no flood would ever be necessary again. Very, very smart. Good move. And I pass.
Rabbi Yaske.
You know what? Bother me. It says that you have to learn with the Pasha of the week. So my wife tells I speak to my wife about it because I'm getting high from the Chassidus, from the Rebbe, from Pasha Elio puts me grounded. But I want to tell you what the Pasha of the week says. Like you understand, it's so crazy. Pasha of the week says that the water, flow of water. The Rebbe said, a flow of water. Like when you have a flow in your life, suddenly you have a blockage. You can't move. In the blockage, bigger. You know what's happened then? Suddenly, the water breaks all the things, the predictions that you had before. This means you had a flow system. Then breaks all the system, makes you a new person completely you ever been. You believe it? So it's so upsetting when it stops. It's so crazy when you stop. And because of Pasach Leo, I know it's real. It makes me mad.
Thank you, Rabbi Yaske. Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you. Avi, go ahead.
All right. My question is, it says the Torah says God destroyed the earth, means he destroyed earthiness, meaning the mistaken belief that the world exists independent of God. Well, some people before the flood did believe that the world did exist with God, like Noah. So he did, and then after he still believed that. And nowadays, most people still don't, believe that the world exists with God. So I don't know if anything really changed. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Avi. So I have a different question because actually they all knew godliness and different things like that, like so clearly, like a guy like Noah building the ark, and then everybody coming over to him and saying, "Well, actually, if you're going to if you're gonna plan on going into your teva, then we're gonna come, we're gonna destroy, we're gonna burn." Like, what do you care? Some crazy old few hundred-year-old man wants to build himself a huge ark, and put a bunch of animals in there and live in there. Like, what do you care? He's just some crazy guy. What?
Mm-hmm. That's right, man, dude. So when the awareness, it was also, they were just very corrupt people. They had no moral code. They had nothing to live by. So whether they were aware of God or not, they were aware of Him in the wrong way, because they were aware that there was somebody that created the world, not that there was anything that they owed to Him, maybe not that there were any rules, just that there was a creator. And I mean, because they were never given any laws. The 8 laws of Noah, where it's again, like you said, the same way. It's an old crazy guy building an ark. It's an old crazy guy walking around telling people what to do. Why should you listen to them? Like, if they're living their lives however they're doing it, why should they stop and change because somebody said something? So until they actually had a way to know that there was a right and wrong, which I guess started after Noah because of the 8 laws.
Yes, man.
So, I don't know what to say. Always, what's happened, you're stuck. You always want to go back to you tracking down that I'm stuck, I have to do something about my life. Today, I tested guys on the Pasach Elio. So a guy learned by heart all Pasach, the chapter 1. And this is a guy, a scholar, you see, he knows the thing. And he couldn't say the words, all the words, few words. And he was looking in, and thank God that I was smart to understand that he killed all the effort. I became like God. So I gave him the $20.
Ari.
I think what I was saying before, in more simple terms, is it said God destroyed the mistaken belief that the world exists independent of God, and I think that it's now more true that people believe that the God exists independent of God more than it was before. So that's why I don't understand, because now it seems way more untrue than it was before. Okay, in a little simpler terms. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, Avi. And wow, these cookies are really good. So I would say, Avi, that the answer to clarify a little bit so that you should understand, because you said that you don't understand. I would say that the idea is that we're more receptive. That means we can. It is a lot easier for us to be receptive to divine consciousness than before. So basically, to the same degree that they had before, meaning that they became so degenerate and debased. Debased, I think that's the word.
An answer that I think I have to Avi's question, might be wrong, might be right. back in the day, it was like still close-ish to the beginning of the world, right? They didn't know what was going on. It's not like there were different religions and this and that and everything. It was either you believed in the God or you didn't. These days, there's tons and tons of people that believe in God. They might believe in a God that they think is a different God than God. They might believe in Christianity, Islam, whatever it is. But whether they know it or not, they're still believing in our God because they just have it mixed up. What they think they're believing in and what their religion is based off of is our religion. So no matter if they're doing everything wrong or right, or if they think they're believing in Allah or Jesus or whatever, they're still at the end of the day believing in the real God because that's what it is. That's what it comes down to. Just because they think, like if I think that Isaac's name is something else and I call him something else, he's still Isaac. From Yaska.
Okay. Sholem, I need a lot of help. Actually, he said a lot to you. This Avom is going to speak after me. So I want to. We need each other so much. It's crazy. Sholem, thank you for being here. Thank you, Avi, for being here. And Rabbi Isaac, I don't have to thank you because God knows it. God is anyways done. And Mitzvah Hashem. I don't know what you guys are doing in your private life, everything to be successful in private life. And I realize when you be very successful, a trillionaire, the only way for you to exist, Baran Pasach Eliyahu. To understand how Eliyahu never lives with everything he got.
Yeah, Avram, yeah?
Yeah. Amen. First
Yes.
of all, thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah.
Give us a second. You want to say something?
Morning, everybody.
You gotta put the phone closer so we can hear him.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, like Yaska said, it's Shabbos Parshas Noach, so we're getting ready for Shabbos. It's the first normal day in a long time. You know, it's not Tishrei, it's not Rosh Chodesh. So back to Yaakov HaChadarke, we should do what we have to do. That's all I'm gonna say now.
Okay. Thank you very much. I want to respond. Avi, now it's your turn.
Thank you, Rebecca. Amen. I think that this. Let's see, can you hear me? Yeah, the subjective information that's been out there since we got the Torah hasn't changed. And the way we've been acting, though, I don't think it's limited to just Jewish people because in the text it says the mistaken belief that the world exists independent of God. And the whole world put together right now, Shalom, you made a good point, but about, we're all believing in the same God, which is true, but another true fact is that the number one religion today is being agnostic, atheism. That's the number one religion. So, and right now, the mistaken belief that the world exists independent of God, I don't know if that has been destroyed. I think it's alive and well more than ever. So.
Yeah. I don't think that the number one religion is agnostic. I mean, I haven't gone around taking a poll from the 6-7 billion people on this planet. I don't think anybody has actually. But I think by just going on the Chinese and Indians, which are mostly religious, or not practicing, but I'm saying believing in God, I think you already have more than half the world. So yalla. And plus the billion or so, whatever, I don't even know how many Muslims as well. No, I mean, I don't think that's accurate. Then, gonna play that. It's my turn. Yeah, I didn't hear about that. The atheism is the number one thing either. It wouldn't make sense because of all the, like Isaac said, first off, Chinese, Indians, and second off, the amount of Christians and Muslims that there are, that's also already a massive number. Besides the fact that out of the amount of people that claim that they're atheists, I don't believe three-quarters of them because I don't think that they truly deep down believe that there's no God. I believe that they think that there is a God and they don't like him, so they say he's not there. I don't think that they actually believe that because it's really, really hard to live your everyday life and see everything you see and not believe in a higher power at least. And as long as you're believing in something higher than human nature, you're believing in the God, whether you have it mixed up or not. But I think that most of them actually do believe, whether they say they do or don't. Rabbi Yaske.
Wow. Since I need here so good, I want to focus on Dave should help it make. I have to start with a computer to make it really seeing good everything. So I didn't listen so much. I'm enjoying some. Avi gives nice comments, remarks, and show them you guys. I know you're speaking the best. I don't speak about Avi Isaac now, but I see the logic. And but I think by being here, my body gets it, and I should listen from time to time. I hear some words that make sense to me. The main thing what I want to say is like this. Sometimes things don't move in your life. The idea is to make a new life. A new life means continue doing what you do, and then you see the new life. That is crazy, but this is.
Avram wants to say anything else, or he's finished?
Oh yeah, it was something.
What?
I'm not saying. I can't. I'm not. What's going?
He doesn't want to say. He's listening. He's listening.
Okay. So Avi, go ahead.
I know that secularism definitely is taking over. You go to any school, that's what you're going to be filled with. That's around us. And for most people who, if they believe in God, their belief in God is, yeah, I guess. Is there an afterlife? I guess. Do you have a soul? Maybe. Whatever. So for most people, that's really how far it goes. So it's not a bad thing, but I don't know if it's a good thing. But yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, so I wanted to respond to Avraham. Not Avi, Avram. I don't know his last name. I forgot his last name. Bieske, Avram, can you hear me? Bieske. Avram, can you hear me?
Avram, yes, Avram walked out for 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay, so I'll respond to him when he comes back. I just quickly checked up. There's approximately almost 2 billion Muslims and 1 billion Christians and 500,000 Buddhists. Whatever I'm saying, there's plenty.
So yeah, first off, that's already over half. And second off, Avi, whether I'm saying when you ask a person, let's say they believe in an afterlife, you just said, yeah, sure, right? Nobody could know because there is no way to prove it, right? That's the whole thing with religion. You have to take a leap of faith. So people could believe and people could have faith. Nobody could actually know 100%. I mean, maybe not nobody. I'm sure certain people have a way to know, but it's not easy to just be able to say, yeah, I know for sure. But I think deep down in almost everybody's head, they have to know that everything is coming from somewhere because it can't just happen by itself. There's the story with the painting, which I'm sure you've heard. I think it was the altar of it. No, whatever. I don't have enough time to say it. But basically, The same way a painting can't paint itself, and nobody would ever believe a painting can paint itself. Like, how much more so the world can't just function on its own? It just doesn't make sense.
Biaska. Biaska, are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Biaska, are you there? All right, Avi, you're up.
Okay, just because for Isaac, just because people are born into a religion doesn't mean they practice it. A lot of people are Jewish and then they go marry someone non-Jewish and then they're sorry.
Okay.
Rebecca? Or I'll talk. So whatever. A lot of people go the other way, and for Shalom, let's see. I don't know how much time. Maybe I'll wait. I'll wait till my next turn. Anything. I mean, you can know 100% the way you know 100% that you exist. So you can't prove anything, but you can have evidence. So you could have 100% evidence in your religion. So proving, you can't prove anything. You know, what is proof? But you can know 100% like you know 100% that you exist. So.
Okay, so I'm not really sure where the conversation is going at the moment. But I also see that it says that they had the mistaken belief that the world exists independent of God. That means they weren't debating if God exists. That wasn't their question. These were people, an entire generation of people that knew God exists, and it wasn't a question like Shalom was saying before. They were very close to, they're just 1,000 years in from creation. Bless you. There were still people that knew the first man that was ever created. Mr. Shella? Bless you. And Adam also lived till...
Right, so that and what did I just want to say to Avi? And what did he say? Something I wanted to say back. I remember this. Oh, I was saying, for me personally, right? You're saying about evidence. So, saying for me personally, I have a hard time with religion. I'm working on it, but I have a hard time. But whether or not I am religious or not, there are so many things that have happened in my life to me, to people in my family, that shouldn't have ended up the way they did. And it had to be something that made it work out, because so many things could have gone wrong so many times and didn't. I'm saying I don't have enough time to get into detail, but I could say quite a few things. So,
Yes,
I want to share with you something the unusual. So I will tell you something that you will understand. Malcolm was I think a black guy became Muslim. So Bob Dylan writes in his biography that I read Malcolm says that a pig is like a dog and a cat and a rat. So he said like this. So because of this, I stopped to eat pig. One time they were jamming with his friends, music, and each one tells each other, "Wow, how you play nice." And when Bob Dylan was jamming, was doing something, so one of the guys said, "You're not eating pig." He said, "Yes, I'm not eating pig." But Malcolm said, "Why am I saying this? This is Ashkocha Potis, yeah? So which Ashkocha Potis you speak about now? If you see a goy does Ashkocha Potis, what he said, as contradicting your life or it's adding your life? And why we are in the best place or not? And this is reality, to realize that you are the one that the Eibishter wants everybody to follow you. Thank you.
Avi. Avi.
Yes. All right, yeah, Shalom, I hear you. It's good stuff. Yeah, we could talk a lot about it. I hear you have some good points. Um, I guess for Isaac, for the whole mistake belief that the world exists independent of God, I can try to come up with so many explanations and rationalize it, but it's complicated. So I'm not going to. You're gonna see Rashi, Rambam, and then Avi. I'm gonna be like, no, most people are atheists. So I could have all my opinions, but I don't know. Just my thoughts. Thank you.
So what I was what I was in the middle of saying is that these were people that knew of God's existence. Their question wasn't, does God exist? The question wasn't, did God create the world? That was never their question. Their mistake was simply in the fact that they said God created the world and left. That was their mistake. That means that there is a creator, there is a God. He told us what to do, but he left. He's not here. He left the man and the world to their own devices. And I think that's what we're saying. Did not continue.
Yeah, so what Isaac said. Av, you understood it, yeah? They weren't denying that there was a God. They just thought that it would be fine if God stopped giving them anything. They thought that the world could be run without him. They knew he created it, they knew he had done everything, and they just thought that the world could go on with or without him. Which doesn't make sense, especially with how much they saw and how much was done right in front of their eyes. I don't know how they were able to believe that. But yeah, did I say that right? All right. One thing that happened to me very quickly, basically, I went skiing. And I went on a really big hill accidentally, didn't know how to ski. And I stopped about 2 feet, whatever, I don't remember what time. I almost had my head crushed open. I got lucky, like 2 feet lucky.
Biaska.
I want to thank Isaac for taking care of the mic better. Hear better, it's very important. Because I really want to join FiveAlive fully. Leave every word people say, and I'm going to try to get my computer to organize with Hashem. But what I'm excited, I feel I was chosen. I'm chosen by the creator of the world to become the creator. I was taught by God. God basically is reality. The word God means reality. It doesn't have to believe, it's reality. So, pay attention to what God means. All reality is reality. Oh, it's reality. You're still not aware of it. So, I'm excited to live in a real world.
Avi.
Thank you, Rabieska. If you guys don't mind hearing me talk a little bit more about this, I guess the part I don't understand, which I probably said, but Shalom keep asking, so I'll continue to talk. It said, if they knew that God did exist and they just chose to ignore, then how could he destroy the mistaken belief that the world exists independent of God? But I thought they did know. And then that comparison to now, which is a little bit, I just still don't understand, but that's okay. It'll come to me. I'll wake up tonight, I'll be like, oh, now I get it, so don't worry. Okay, thank you.
I didn't fully understand what the question still is. Well, we're not worried. We just like the discussion. I mean, I like the discussion, and I like where my brain and the way my brain thinks because of your questions. That's all. Okay, I'm going to read a little further. Now, thanks to the flood, we can bring divine consciousness even into our earthly lives. First, we must periodically immerse ourselves in divinity, in daily prayer and Torah study, the weekly observance of the Shabbos, and the annual Jewish holidays. Then, we must bring the divine awareness into every facet of our daily lives. These efforts will hasten the world's attainment of complete divine consciousness in the Messianic era. Beautiful. Yeah. Basically, get some oomph and then bring it to the rest of the world, the rest of your life. Good, it's 5:30.
Avi, I'm gonna try explaining what I was saying one more time. I'm not sure if this is your question or not. I don't know if it will help you or not. If it doesn't, then hopefully, yeah, it will just hit you. But basically, the issue wasn't that they didn't believe in God or that they believed that the world ran independent of God. The issue was that they knew that there was a God and they believed that the world was capable of running independent of God. They thought, is that right? Is that what it said? I think that's what it was saying. It was saying they knew that there was a God because there's no way they didn't. They knew the first person that was created. They knew the world was created from something. They knew how it happened. They just believed that the world could go on without him, whether he was or wasn't there. And people have to be really stupid to be able to be living in that time and think that the world could go on without God right after it was created. But then again, it was the beginning, so maybe they thought that he just had to start it off for them.
Rabbi Yosker.
It's very funny I realized something, because speak about God and what people believe. What do you care what people believe, what they say? And because you're in charge of the world, that's why you speak about it. Because this makes you rationalize it and come to conclusions and to be yourself. I will go with a random comment like what is a movie and what is not. Imagine now everything is like so many dimensions, 310 dimensions. So who is real or is not? So everybody thinks he's real all the way. Whenever they say, I'm real, I'm real, I'm real, I'm real, I'm real. Whoever is real affects the world. So let's be realistic. Who is real?
Abi.
Thank you. Thank you, Briska. Thank you, Shalom. I like the explanation. Also, I mean, there are people today, obviously, who think the world can go on without a God. You know, maybe the question is it majority of the world? Is it not majority of the world? Is that the question? But I like your explanation. Good. All right, that's my turn. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, cool. I think the point is that I have the capability now, and it's not beyond to see, it's not beyond me to see and to live a life that can infuse the worldly, earthly aspects of myself with the godly aspects that I get myself involved in. That means that it's not that I could learn Torah and has nothing to do with my life. And when I deal other stuff in my life, it has nothing to do with the Torah, God, or davening, whatever. But the way that it works is the exact opposite. Like when I go for a walk, I learn Torah for an hour, which is awesome, by the way.
All right, just want to tell Yaska, basically, there's a TV show, and don't get me wrong, it's full of stupidity, but this TV show is called Rick and Morty, and it basically goes through all these crazy things that you're saying. It's basically, he's a crazy scientist, and he goes through, he has these like portals, and he goes into different dimensions. And the whole time he's like showing he takes his grandson around with him, and there's always like other ones of them in different dimensions, and his grandson thinks they're real, and he's like telling him, he's like, no, we're in a different dimension. Everything is fake. You got to know that. You got to remember. It's just like it's a whole trip, but it really, like, if it's actually how things are, it's crazy, because it just is. If you would watch that and ignore the stupid parts, you would really, really like it, because it's literally just dimensions and this and that and everything, and showing how things are real, and it's really crazy.
I appreciate your conversation. I just want to ask you a question. If your job is to act, this is what you're doing now, you will feel the greatest. You're an actor. Wow, you're going to be the best. How much money they pay you? That's the decision. Going to make you happy. Sit there for endless time, because how much money you pay me? And what the money is going to be? Sitting more. I mean, you sit the whole life like this for a movie. So you get paid. The future, you're going to pay it. So what I want to say, I learned Pasach Eliyahu, and I like what you said, Sholem. I like all of you what you say. And I suggest everybody to learn Pasach Eliyahu, to realize the only way you have to be the creator of the world. Otherwise, you don't be delusional. Otherwise, somebody is going to put you another video and make you in a delusional life. When they want to convince me also, Yoski, you're not real, or real, or not real, or real. And my body even wants to tell me, my horse even. I say, hey, come on.
Avi?
Shalom, good call, by the way, on the recommendation to Rebecca on the TV show. I think you'd really like it. That's a good call. And Rebecca, how do you know what's real, sleeping or when you're awake? Maybe sleeping is like reality, and when you're awake, that's just like, it's nothing. So maybe, what's the difference? I don't know. Maybe they're, Okay, thank you.
No. Thank you. And that is all for today, fellow Chassidim. Have a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful day. Mashiach right now.